We are discussing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 1. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Manaha Partha Yogam Injinmadasraya Asamsan Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Tatsrinu. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord said, Mai, to me, Asakta Manaha, mind attached, Partha, or son of Pittha, Yogam, self-realization, Injan, practicing, Matasraya, in conscious of me, Krishna consciousness, Asamsayam, without doubt, Samagram, completely, Mam, me, Yatha, how, Gyasasi, you can know, Tat, that, Shrinu, try to hear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Avachana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full conscious of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Please respond. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full conscious of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulence is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as a non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to the self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubt. Different type of yogas are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about the Brahmajyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna conscious yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entity, the material nature, and their manifestation with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in the 9 different forms, which Sarvanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tasrinu, or hear from me. No one can be greater authority than Krishna. Therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Sinvatam sokatha Krishna punya savana kirtanaha udam tastoi savadrani vidhunati srisatam नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी तदारजस्तम भावा कामलोभादयश्चये चेतैताैरनाविद्धं तीतं सत्ते प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत भक्ति योगतः Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hudaya Granthi Shindyante Sarva Sansaya Hiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evat Manishware. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literature or hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself is righteous activities. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. By development of the devotional service, one becomes free from the modes of passion and ignorance. Thus, material lust, avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in this position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by the devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severes the hard knot of material affection, enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsam samagram, understanding the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna, from his devotee in Krishna consciousness, can one understand the science of Krishna. So, thank you very much for attending our Saturday program. So, this is very important verses. Prabhupada has given almost 36 times the lecture on this verse. So, here it is said that Maya Saktaha Manaha Partha Yoga means Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktaha Manaha Partha Yoga Minjan Madasraya Asamsam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Tasunu. So, the Supreme Personality of God, and now here a son of Krishna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness. So, Krishna in 6th chapter, so as Prabhupada says, 6th chapter, he has been described, the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he described that this living entity is not the human body, is spirit soul, but somehow or another it encased in this material body and undergoing the suffering of material misery. So that spirit soul can be enlivened by the process of yoga system. Therefore, he introduced in second chapter, after he is giving the identity of the soul, third chapter he started how you can connect. Just like you know that your identity, I am an engineer, I am a doctor. Then what is your duty now in relation to your identity? You do not know your identity, then means you will be misdirected. Your activities will be misdirected. So therefore, whole world is going on this process, on this misconception, bodily conception, that I am the body. So Krishna first of all dismantle the fundamental misconception that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. So when I know my identity, now I have to, what is my duty? Your duty as a spirit soul to connect back to Krishna. Now we are disconnecting. When we are disconnecting from Krishna, as a result, we have been suffering. These beautiful verses is there in Bhagavatam. He say that so it is say that, so very nice. Hitva atma maya rachita grihapatya sriya tamo visanti anishchanta vasudeva param. So Vasudeva Paranmukha. Now our now condition, the current state of living entity is this Vasudeva Paranmukha. Those who have turned away from the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Krishna Bhuliya Jiva Bhagavan Chakare. So our position that we have turned away from the Lord. So being under the spell of Lord's illusory energy are eventually forced to give up their so-called homes, children, friends, wives and lovers, which were all created by illusory potency of the Lord. So this is our misidentity. We are identified by I am this body and my family, my children, my society, my community, this extended illusory thing, extended selfishness. And I am thinking I and me platform. So that's Radha Madan Mohan. So therefore I am misidentify myself. Enter again their will and there's a very important, the repercussion of misidentity is not that, oh, I am body, so what? If I misidentity myself, what will happen? Enter against their will into the darkest region of the universe. That means we will be in a repercussion is very grave and gargantuan. We will be undergoing the repeated birth and death, obnoxious misery of repeated birth and death. So not only the darkest region of universes, we may be pulled into the very darkest, because we do not know I am acting on a very wrong platform, erroneous platform, egregiously erroneous platform. I am this body. So therefore, Kṛṣṇa first of all removed this rudimentary understanding or fundamental understanding, I am not this body and soul. Now, when I know that I am this soul, then what is my duty? So immediately Kṛṣṇa, see, Bhagavad Gita is not spoken just randomly, so much scrutinized, so much systematically. Immediately Kṛṣṇa says, now you know your identity. What is your duty now? My duty, first of all, introduce karma yoga. Now you can be connected back. Now you have not connected back. Simply knowing I am spirit soul also not enough. You have to connect back. So therefore Kṛṣṇa introduced karma yoga. You can connect through the karma. So Kṛṣṇa therefore says that the jagyatya karmana anyatha lopoyam karma bandhana. Immediately say you can connect back when your activities dovetail with Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Activities for me. So he introduced karma yoga. Then you are little bit of advance. You know that what is this fruitive activities and get. I do not want fruitive. I want to knowledge. Then Kṛṣṇa introduced this jnana yoga. That by knowledge you can understand me. Then buddhi, therefore he used the word buddhi yoga also. Prabhupada explained also in buddhi yoga in some of the lecture as a jnana, some of the lecture as a bhakti. So then he come to the meditation yoga system, that's the Patanjali yoga system. And he told that you can connect back through the meditational process. But Arjuna declined that it is chanchalahi manaha Kṛṣṇa. This mana is very chanchala. So it is very difficult to meditate on Kṛṣṇa, because whole idea is the concentration of the mind of Kṛṣṇa. So different process has been given in first six chapter. Then Arjuna declined that after hearing this. So this is very not practical, pragmatic for me. Chanchalam hi manah Kṛṣṇa pramati balavad dridham tasyam nigraham manya vayuri vasu duskaram. So he declined, the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, very strong. Oh Kṛṣṇa, to subdue it I think is more difficult to controlling the wind. So he told this Patanjali meditation also is not so practical for me. Then Kṛṣṇa in the last verse of this sixth chapter, he has given one very important things. He stated, Yoginam api sarvesam mad gatina antaratmamana sadavan bhajate jojamam swame yuktatamamata. Now he categorically declared that whatever I have spoken about three yogis, actually previous verse also you can go through. Previous verse he say that a yogi is greater than ascetics, greater than empiricists, and greater than foodie workers. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances be a yogi. Tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. All circumstances you become a yogi. Then in next verse he say that, in this verse also this is called yoga ladder. What is the yoga ladder? Because he is saying that yogi means bhakti yogi is greater than the ascetics and is greater than the empiricists. Ascetic means those who are meditation, giving up everything, and greater than the empiricists, those who are knowledge, speculating, and greater than the foodie worker, the karmis. That means this bhakti yogi is greater than all other yoga system. So therefore next chapter he is qualifying the bhakti yoga is the highest. He is qualifying himself. No, bhakti yoga is the highest spiritual. And of all yogis, he always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga, the highest of all. So here Kṛṣṇa qualifies bhakti yoga as the highest. He's put the bhakti yoga in a highest pedestal. In many places in Bhagavatam also, he says that the bhakti yoga is the highest. There is nothing greater than bhakti. So in order to clarify this one, you can go to these verses also in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says, Bhakti labdhavatah sadhuhu kim anyad avishasyate. In this verse also Kṛṣṇa qualifies what more remains to be accomplished for a perfect devotee after achieving devotional service unto me. So the devotional service is the highest of all yoga systems. One more verse, so he says that yam labdacha paramalabham. The highest gain is that the bhakti yoga. Yam labdacha param. So bhakti yoga is the highest. Krishna himself qualifies this one. In another verses, he spoke to the gopis that my bhaktiri bhutanam amritaiva kalpate. So this is very important verse. Rendering devotional service to me qualifies any living entity, living being for eternal life. But by your good fortune, you have developed a special loving attitude towards me, by which you have obtained me. That is also spoken in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, this verse. So here it is said that Krishna is speaking to Gopi and also to Uddhava that highest is the bhakti yoga. Now in 7th chapter, which is 7 to 12 chapter, is about the bhakti yoga. First 6 chapter is karma yoga. Prabhupada taken this conception from the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who explained, and last one is Jnana yoga. So the 7th chapter is beginning with the bhakti, and beginning with the bhakti, Lord is saying that how you develop that maya sakta manapartha, how you develop that bhakti. After qualifying bhakti is the highest, topmost, there is nothing beyond the bhakti. Now he is Krishna saying that how the process, what is the process that you can develop that bhakti for me? How to attain this bhakti? Maya asakta manapartha. And most important thing, tasinu, you can understand me. Asamsam samagrammam, yes, gyasasi tasnu, by hearing process. So hearing process is the beginning of the bhakti yoga and most important. Very, very most important. So without hearing, we cannot develop the attachment for the Krishna. Without attachment, there is no love. Attachment means asakti, the platform of asakti is very high. See, in this Rupa Goswami has given very systematically that how we can develop that adau shraddha. Shraddha means little bit of liking for the Krishna consciousness, for religiosity. Also, any Jiva Goswami also say shraddha means faith for revealed scripture. But Prabhupada is differently translated. He told shraddha means little faith, just like you are coming. Many people are not coming. You have little faith in Krishna consciousness, in religiosity. Adau shraddha tatha sadhu sangha. Then associate with devotees, pure devotee. Then bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya means the process of, by following the regulative or perpetuating or performing the devotional service according to prescribed method under the guidance of spiritual master. That is bhajana kriya. So, anartha nirbiti sad. Anartha nirbiti means all our, what you say, inabilities, frailties, all our, what you say, Prabhupada say very nice, inefficiency or incapacity like this, all our flaws, all our shortcoming will be removed. Tatho nishta. Nishta means fixed up. Then come ruchi, taste will come without fixed up taste. Tatha asakti. See, asakti platform. So by simply the process of hearing, maya sakta manapartha, by process of hearing, you can develop the attachment. Your mind can be developed. It can come to the platform of asakti. So how important hearing? But nobody is coming here. Manusyanam sahasya sut. Manusya kasya jatati saddhaya. So nobody is interested to come to hear. They do not know hearing is very, very important, very potent. Hari Katha attracts Hari. It is said that in this verse, in Bhagavatam also, many verses are there for hearing. So I will show you one verses that how by hearing process is so important. In NOI 8, they're very nice. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati say that our bhakti begins with Shravana dasa. First of all, hearing. Without hearing, we cannot develop any attachment because knowledge is important. Without knowledge, one cannot. So Krishna says, Asamsam, completely know, but hear from me. So therefore, he is explaining all 7 to 12 chapter, explaining about himself and about bhakti, how to attain. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has commented as follow upon this word. Who has not developed in Krishna consciousness, no, not this one. Little. Yes. In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana dasa. That is the first thing. you have to do. Prabhupada said that my Guru Maharaj saw me that I am hearing, I am interested in hearing. That made me qualified for getting initiation. It simply was everybody going here and there, Prabhupada sitting in it. Prabhupada said, I am not able to understand also. Even in Bengali also he was speaking, I am not able to. Very high, lofty philosophy, lofty language also. Very bombastic word. So, but because I have got an interest of hearing, my Guru Maharaj saw me that because he is interested in hearing, so he initiated me. So how important is hearing? So in neophyte stage, the Shravana dasa is there, the stage of hearing. By constantly hearing transcendental holy name of Kṛṣṇa, hearing of his transcendental form, qualities, pastime, one can attain to the stage of acceptance called Bharana dasa. See, after only you can acceptance called Bharana dasa. First is Shravana dasa. When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to hearing of Krishna Katha. And when one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smarana Avastha, the stage of remembering. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, trains the 5 items called progressive Krishna Smarana. So you are not even qualified for the first Shravana dasa, you don't do the first step. So you cannot come to the second stage, third stage, all these different steps develop, progressive stages are there. At first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at the interval, but later remembrance proceeds uninterrupted. When remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated. It's called meditation. When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called anusmriti. These are all technical. By uninterrupted and unceasing anusmriti, one enters the stage of samadhi, spiritual trance. After this Smarana dasa or samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitution portion. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. This is called Sampati dasa, the perfection of life. So first of all, we should hear. Without hearing, nothing can be done. Prabhupada said that out of all kind of things, all kind of our limbs, the ear is very active. Ear is a gateway to liberations, the expressway to Godhead. Because supposing you hear about somebody, so automatically you develop the attachment. Therefore, whole Bhagavatam is the glorification of the Lord, his name, form, activities. Jasyang bhai Sriyamanam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhakti Rutpadayate Punsam. The bhakti, asakti or bhakti developed by process of hearing Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means, Prabhupada said, 2 types of Krishna Katha. One is Bhagavad Gita, spoken by the Lord, Bhagavatam, spoken about the Lord. So, whole things are given for us to hear. Krishna wanted to speak. He is speaking so much volume of things, 700 verses, 18,000 Bhagavatam, but we are silent. We do not want to open. We do not want to know that what he is speaking. That is a misfortune. Therefore, Prabhupada said that all my disciples, all my students must hear 24, what is that, 24, 25. All my students, otherwise they will fall down. Otherwise they will fall down. 168. What is that verse where Krishna say, so if you do not hear, you will be falling down. You cannot sustain. So Krishna is speaking everything. Arjuna in a very precarious situation, little bit of inattentive, and Arjuna is going to be killed, because in a war, very, you have to be very careful. So, but still, Arjuna has given time for hearing in the situation, war-like situation. The war is about to start, and Arjuna is now beyond a perplexity. Still, he wanted to hear from the Lord. That is the good quality. Howsoever you are crammed with responsibility and pressing situation, but it should not be at the cost of not hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. That is a colossal loss. So whole Shastra is there for us to hear and understand the thing. Yes, Shastra Vidyussaje. If you do not hear Bhagavad Gita, then you do not know how to act, because perfect knowledge leads you to perfect action. Arjuna action was not correct initially. So he heard from the Bhagavad Gita wisdom from Krishna. Then he corrected himself. Initially he told Naiti Jasya Govinda, I shall not fight Govinda. But when he hear Bhagavad Gita wisdom, then he say Parishya Vachanatava, I shall fight. What is this transition, transformation? Because of knowledge, his action has been transformed, changed. You do not know how to cross the traffic light, you will endanger yourself. You will be ended up in hospital with broken hand and legs. Therefore, the knowledge is very important. Out of all achievement, knowledge. Krishna saying that you want to know me, who is God. How can I love somebody if I do not know? Supposing you do not know Ambani, Elon Musk. Then if I say Elon Musk, I don't care. If you know Elon Musk is the richest person in the world with 700 plus billion, then you will start respecting, because you know, more you, Krishna Prabhupada say, more you know, more you respect this, more you respect that person, honor that person. So therefore Krishna say asamsam samagram, you want to know me, you practice this bhakti yoga. Otherwise there is very difficult. You cannot, because we are finite. Finite cannot approach infinite. That is not possible. Only when infinite can reveal it. Sometimes somebody asks Prabhupada, how a infinite can be revealed? Why not? How can you challenge infinite? God cannot be challenged. How God can reveal? God can do anything. Otherwise he is not God. So we cannot, the finite cannot approach infinite, but infinite can reveal the process. What is the process? By process of hearing. When you process of hearing, the effect is that this is a very righteous activity. Srinmatam Sokata Kṛṣṇa Punya Sravana Kirtana. The effect of hearing is given here. When you hear, so when you hear, what will happen? It is a fire. All our Sinnatam Sokatha Kṛṣṇa Punya Sravana Kirtana Udantustani Abhadrani Vidunati Swissatam. Abhadrani means our heart is full of infections. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, which Paramatma supersoul in everyone's heart, the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart. Our conditioning life, we are here to enjoy. Krishna bhuliya jivo bhagavancha kare nikatastha maya kare. We have that desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. That is the core and cardinal reason, the fundamental reason for us being engaged in this material world, undergoing excruciatingly painful life. So therefore, this, as long as we have this desire in the heart, we are here. We want to become doctor, we want to enjoy. So in this process of and in that mentality, we will not get out. We will not get out as long as we have got the desire. Therefore, by hearing process will remove, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. That is the process. Therefore, hearing is very purification process. It's purify. It cleanses the heart. Vidunati srissatam. Vidunati means visishta rupena. Very nicely cleansed from the heart of the devotee, which are in themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. So then what is the effect of that? When you chant and hear every day, not that just casually is weekend we are coming, Saturday, Sunday also nobody coming much. Still we are giving opportunity for every day. If we at least come Saturday, Sunday also there is the effect. But every day if you do that, how much effective this hearing process. Nasta prayasu abhadras. Nasta means destroy. Nasta is our language, every language, Indian language. Nasta prayasu, almost all, 75%. Abhadra means infection. This enjoyment, I want to enjoy the modes of material nature, we are infected. Sometimes, everybody wants to enjoy. In mode of goodness also there is enjoyment. So all the infections, abhadra, it will be almost destroyed. And how it is destroyed? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by hearing process. You hear Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata. Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So Bhagavati Uttama Sloke, Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita is Uttama Sloka. What is called Uttama Sloka? Udgata tama. It is not ordinary. Ordinary things are called tama. It's not udgata tama. This whole material world is called tama, modes of material nature. Udgata tama means uttama sloka means udgata tama, above this one. This is transcendental. So therefore, these books are not like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam reading is not the ordinary book reading. It is transcendental. Uttama sloke. Bhagavati uttama sloke. Bhaktir bhavati naistiki. What is the consequence? The consequence is that we develop the bhakti. What kind of bhakti? Nishtha means very firm bhakti. It cannot be, Prabhupada given one of the lecture, no, I pray Krishna, I pray demigod also. These things will not be coming. Every day you hear, you are fixed up with Krishna consciousness, only Krishna. And it will not be, sometimes I am Haribol, sometimes it is we are down. So that will not be there. So bhaktir bhavati naiskiti. And what will happen? These are the very important way how to attend devotional service. Then it is said that tada raja tamo bhava cheta kama lobha dayasya chatete ranaviddham stitam satya prasidati. So all our material enjoyment due to the infection of passion and ignorance, we are infected by passion and ignorance. At the time of loving service is established in the heart, the mode of passion, rajas, ignorance, tama, and lost and desire disappear from the heart, which is the main cause, which is the cardinal, fundamental cause for our material conditioning, material existence, because you want to enjoy, separate from Krishna. Krishna bhuliya jivo bhagavancha kare. As soon as we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, then we are captured by Maya. Under the spell of Maya, we are undergoing so much distress, so much misery. Today we are speaking about how the material existence, like a burning, cruelly burning, blazing fire. When a blazing fire is very difficult to get out. Blazing fire. So therefore, this passion and ignorance, the way, as long as we are infected, it is not good. It makes us to, engaged in this material world. Then the devotee is established in goodness, he becomes happy. By hearing process, we will disappear. All our lost desire, infection will disappear. And we come to the mode of goodness. Then we are thinking of always different. The mode of goodness is not like lost and anger. It is characterized, in chapter 14 say that it is characterized by knowledge, illumination, enlightenment. So that is the right stage, prerequisite for taking of Krishna consciousness. Because ignorance and passion you cannot. Supposing you want to fly, you have to go to aerodrome field. You cannot, you cannot fly from your house. So therefore, to go to the passion and ignorance, one cannot come to the Krishna consciousness. Bhogoshchara prasaktanam. Krishna say, no, they cannot come. We have to come to mode of goodness. And for that, the very systematic process has been given that you have to hear. Hearing is so important. It can qualify you to become Krishna consciousness, mode of goodness. Finally, what will happen? What is the result of that? Evam prasanna manasa. When you are in mode of goodness, you are not anxious. Anxiety. Mode of passion means there are anxiety. You go to city, everybody is very, hustle bustle life. So always in busy. But when you mode of goodness, evam prasanna manasa, you don't have to be much worried, anxiety less. Bhagavat bhakti jogata, Bhagavat tattva vijnana mukta sangasya jayate. Thus established in the mode of goodness, the man rejuvenated by loving service to the Lord gains liberation from material association mukti, comes to know the scientifically personality of God. So in that stage you can understand. Otherwise, when you are so much, your mind is disturbed, how can you absorb the Krishna consciousness knowledge also? Even Bhagavad Gita, you going to office, come back, you study Bhagavatam. You will feel sleep within 10 minutes. You cannot assess, you just cannot penetrate the words cannot penetrate. You cannot absorb it. Very difficult. Very difficult. Because your mind is so much, traffic, so much bombarded by different information. You are in so much in passion ignorance. I have to do this, I do that. You cannot. But morning time is the best time when you are free from all the anxiety. That is the same mode of goodness. Then you can absorb Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Evam prasanna manasa, Bhagavad bhakti jogata, prasanna manasa. Therefore, we have to come to the mode of goodness to absorb this knowledge. or execute this Bhagavad Gita. So finally it is said that the final benefit is that the knot of the heart and all misgiving are caught into peace. Chain of fruitive reaction terminated when one sees self as a master. So then finally the heart, which has been not, which has been so much due to this infection of modes of material nature, due to so much attachment, I am attached to myself, my car, my job, my investment, my wife, my girlfriend. So in this way we have been so much hard now. So that knot, as long as that knot is there, that means you are holding that material desire, some kind of thing. Anya vilasita punyam, not sunyam. Anya vilasita punyam, all things they are not sunyam. So that as long as we have punyam or even a tinge of that material attachment, we cannot go back to Godhead, because Kṛṣṇa is purest. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhava, Pavitram. Unless one is pure, one cannot go to Kṛṣṇa. You have to go to fire, you have to be fiery. Similarly, we have to go to Kṛṣṇa, to pure. So this is whole Kṛṣṇa consciousness is purificatory process. So Kṛṣṇa is explaining the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga, the first chapter, Maya Sakta Manaha Partha, how your mind can be attached to me, how you develop this attachment for me, how you develop, because mind is the cause of all the things. Mind is attached to do this, do that. Mind function is, what is the mind function? Willing, desiring, all the things. He's doing that. That I want this, I want this, I want. So mind, when you attach the mind to how can I develop that attachment instead of to other things, to Kṛṣṇa, by hearing process. There is beautiful verses in this regard, I remember now. So we'll end it because time is not there. It's very nice. He says that Tava Vikriditam Kṛṣṇa Nennam Parama Mangalam Karna Piyusam Asadhya Tajjanti Anyasmyam Janaha. My dear Kṛṣṇa, your pastime, Uddhava is speaking this one. My dear Kṛṣṇa, your pastime are supremely auspicious for mankind, are an intoxicating beverage for the earth. Tasting such pastime, people forget their desire for other things. When you hear, automatically your other things will go away. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa says, Maya Sakta Manaha Partha. By process of hearing Kṛṣṇa Katha, you can develop the attachment for Kṛṣṇa. You will forget other desires, because other desires are anyavilasita, punnam, full of material desire. So this is the thing. So this is the process of hearing process. With a final verses, I will show you this beautiful verses. So this is final verses. Yanita charitani sa manusya sadhava kalu, particularly Kali Yuga it says, Sinbantam kitantascha tarishanti ajansata tamaha. So here it is said, my dear Lord, those pious and saintly person who in the age of Kali hear about your transcendental activities, glorify them, will easily cross over the darkness of the age. So this is a very easy point. Uddhava is speaking to Kṛṣṇa that simply by hearing, Kṛṣṇa also say 13:26, that simply here you don't understand also, you sit down and hear. Still has an impact, and still you go back, transcends even. That kind of love. Kṛṣṇa say 13:26 that by the process, by the simply hearing, he says that again there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of the tendency to hear from authority, they also transcend the path of Bharata. Kunti Devi also saying that Srimanti Ganti Grinanti Avikshnasa Smaranti Nandanti Tavahitam Janam Saeva Pasyanti Atirena Tabakam Bhava Prabha. Bhava means to become, to repeated birth and death. It will mitigate, it will stop, not mitigate, stop this one. Stop this repetition of birth and death. Otherwise, we have to desire something. Kṛṣṇa main proposes, God disposes. Supposing you have some desire in the heart, you want to become Virat Kohli, Elon Musk, Adnani, Ambani. Kṛṣṇa say, okay, you become. Then that is called bhava. Bhava means you become. You become. Then again you have to take birth. In this way, we have been rotating in the cycle of birth and death. Willful, what is called washing machine. Willful of birth and death repeatedly. Undergoing obnoxious, notorious, nefarious material existence. So please take the Kṛṣṇa's advice. He is speaking. We should not be silent. We should hear first of all, then execute accordingly. Just like Arjuna did, it become so perfect. So simply Maya Sakta, you come to where you can hear, going to the grocery shop or going to cinema hall, where you will hear Krishna Katha. You have to come to temple. You have to associate with devotees. Nowadays, of course, digital media is there, but you hear anyway. Try to hear. When you try to hear Krishna Katha from a bona fide source, not any everybody speaking, but bona fide source, from Krishna and our bona is devotees, then we can perfect. Gradually we can perfect. Very easy process. Here is gateway to liberation, expressway to Godhead. Other processes are very, in Kali Yuga it is not possible. Neither we have time, nor we have this knowledge, qualification to undergo the meditation process or other process. This is the best process we can do. Thank you very much. We have 6:30 already, overshoot 5 minutes. So we have this arati now, then followed by the prasadam. Jai Ganthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Srila Prabhupada. Huh? Yeah, that's right.